that a person can donate the Soiles and the Marcheshes and the Machavas and the Minchas Maifa, which is two types, Chalas or Rekikin. Let's say he makes it it's supposed to be 10 loaves. Let's say he made the whole thing just one loaf. He's Yaitse. My timer. What's the reason? Well, it's interesting because it says in the pasuk that it's supposed to be made matzos. However, if you look, the word is chaser. It doesn't have the vav. So a chaylam could be with a vav or without a vav. So, which means that if you read it without putting the vowels in, it's going to say matzas. Now matzas means what is singular. Matzas ksiv. So therefore, that teaches me that it could be even if it's one, it's still kosher. Maskefler of Papa. Rav Papa has a question. Time diksiv matzas. See, he's getting himself into trouble here because he says his reason. He says his reason. You say, "Oh, that's your reason." Let's discuss that reason. Your reason is because it says matzas. Haksiv matzais lai. That sounds like if it would say matzais, then the answer is that it would not be acceptable because it needs to be all 10. Regarding the lachmei taida, the ksiv matzais, it does say with a vav, malay. V'amar Rav Tuvi bar Kisna mashmol lachmei taida shafan arba chalis yotza. And he says that you're yaitze. So the Gemara says he pliga. Yeah, Rav Huna argues on that. Why? How can he argue on that? Because he has the other opinion in the Brisa. Just remember, we quoted a Brisa with two opinions. It's not a problem. Okay. The Mishnah says, "Ha'imar hayaba isarin mishalish sign." The Aimer came one isarin, but what did it start out with? It started out with shalish sign. You have to start with 3 sa. Each sa is 144 eggs.
So now you give the measurement.
And 144 is 288 plus another 144 is what is that? 342? Does that make sense? 332. So it's a and then the Nisaran is only 53, I think. So it was really taken down. 53. It was taken down like 6 times down, less. So you would take this, 5 parts of it would be left, would be the psilas. And so it was really sifted down. Does it say an actual measurement in your Gemara? What's the ratio? Okay. Shtei alechem, on the other hand, the 2 loaves that were brought on Shavuos, is totally different. That's Shnei Yisrainim Mishalish Saran. It's double the amount. You have 2 Isaran from the same amount of original flour. The Omer was only 1 Isaran. The Lechem Apanim is even more extreme. It's Esrim Ba'arba Esrainim Mi Esrim Ba'arba Saran. It's 1 to 1. It means yeah, but it's not a nisaran of a sa. It's a nisaran of an ephah, which means that it's 140. A sa is 144 eggs. This is 53 eggs, so it's like a third. It's approximately. So, but they're very large loaves. Each loaf of the lechem apanim was 2 esrainim each. By the other ones, by a regular covered mincha, you had 1 isaran, which made 10 loaves. These were larger loaves.
If you compare it to pound, how many pounds is now the bread?
I think when it comes to challah, I think they say, is it 5 pounds? That's vadai. That's definitely challah. How many pounds of flour do you say a bracha on?
That's 5, yeah.
You have to look in the purple Chabad cookbook.
It's 5.
Over there it tells you all the measurements.
Unleavened. This is unleavened bread.
Yeah. Yeah, it's heavy.
So how many pounds? The bread is bread.
It would be about a half a pound.
What's up?
Oh, the lechem apanim?
Parsima.
Lechem apanim would be about 10 pounds.
Never had parsima?
Yeah.
A 10-pound loaf.
What?
If it would
Yemen
be
matzah.
a big
So
shear,
parsa.
you know, a chazanish shear. My timer. What's the reason that you use so much and then you take it down? And what's the reason for the ratios here? The Gemara explains. Kivan de mechadash asi, u'misayir nasi, yisarin muvchalei asi ala mishalish sarin. The reason is, it's the very new crop. It's not as full and it's the beginning of the crop, and it's also barley. So it takes a lot to get the best out of it. People say this with children. Say that the first are harder. Say they get better. I don't know. Okay. Speculation. Apparently, this is how it works with the crops. The first ones at the beginning of the season, it's not as good as later on.
Well, true, he tells.
They have to work harder. Okay, shtei alechem, shtei yisreinas mishal yisayin. The 2 loaves is not like that. The 2 loaves, it's 2 Yisraelim from 3. It's not 1 Yisraelim from 3. So the Gemara explains. Kivan de mechitanasi, and you're not bringing from barley, you're bringing from wheat. Wheat is automatically more finer than barley. Afagav de mechadashas, and even from the new crop. Shtei Yisraelim masim mishal yisayin. The 2 can come from 3. What's the pshat with the lechem apanim? Lechem apanim, it's 24 from 24, which means 1 to 1. It's not 1 to 3, it's not 1 to 2, it's 1 to 1. So, Esrim Rabba Esreinas, Mi Esrim Rabba Esayin. My timer, what's the reason for this? It says, Kivan the Mechitanasu, since it comes from wheat. Okay, that's not an answer yet. Umi Yashanasu, and it comes from the old grain. So it's much better. The older grain is better. It's not the first of the crops. So Yisaran Mubcharasim Isa. You can get a good Yisaran from 1 sa. You're sifting it down to get the finest. First, discuss what happens if you want to use the new grain.
I have a
It's a
problem.
discussion. Do you have to sift it down, or I mean, you can always use the old grain.
He
You can
answers
say-
in the red.
I'm sorry?
He continues, he answers. Shiru Vasadas or Reba Bamida Sign Shalom Shemiya. That would be an answer.
No, 1 second.
If somebody wants to bring more or bring less of the saw, it's a discussion.
No. Yeah, no. Here's the discussion. We're talking about size and we're talking about quality.
Right.
The quality was, it starts with
The Yashan or Chadash.
Yashan is one. The ratio is 1 to 1.
Right.
1 sa gives you 1
Right.
Yisaran.
So what if you want to use Chadash for
Chadash for the.
Lechem Apanim?
So you're gonna probably have to use
More.
You're gonna probably have to use more. Yeah. Okay. Tana Rabbanan. The rabbis taught in a brisa. Kol Menachos shiriba b'midas Yisraelim. If you increase the size, you take too much flour. It went over the top. You know, you have an isaran, and you didn't cut it out. What was heaping over. Ishamiyat midas Yisraelim. No, you used too little. It's psulos. It's puzzle. Farshim explain because it has to do with the kaimets. Riba b'midas sa shalehem. If you start, this is what you're saying. You're right. If you start with the sa too much, Ishemiyat midas sa and shalem ksheres, that's going to be kosher as long as you have the flour that the right amount that you need. That's kosher. So the quality won't be ma'akiv. If it's overly fine or not as fine. Okay, now the Mishnah says, ha'omer hayemenufa b'shalish esri nafa. They used 13 sifters.
Wow.
We're going to see how they did it. Shtei alechem. The Omer was barley. The shtei alechem is b'shtei mesrei. Was 12 sifters. Lechem apanim. That was in Shavuos. Was the shtei alechem. Was wheat. The lechem apanim which is every week, is biyud aleph. They used 11. Reb Shimon Aimer lo ya'elem kitzva. There was actually no amount. Elaselis menufa called tzarka. It was sifted as much as it's necessary. Tzarka hayam maybe. Shenamar v'lakachta selis v'afisa isa. Achte menufa called tzarka. You take fine flour and you bake it until it's sifted to what it's required. Tana Rabbanan. The rabbis taught in the Bais. Bedaka, begasa, bedaka, begasa. This is what they would do. They would start off with a very fine sifter. That would let out just the very, very best. The finest, the pastry flour, very fine flour would come out. Then they would use a very coarse, a sifter with large holes. And that would just hold back only the bran, only the very worst, only the thickest. What was left, what came out, they would then put it into another fine one, which was not as fine as the first. And that would let out the second level of the finest flour. And so then they would put it back with the very finest, 2 levels of fine. Then they would put it in a very coarse one, where it would hold back only the bran. And what comes out of that, so it was going down stages of Bedaka, Begasa. Okay. Reb Shimon ben Elazar Reimer, Shalish Esri Nafis Hayu B'Mikdash, Zulamaylam Yizu, V'Zulamaylam Yizu. There actually were 13, yes. But it didn't work the way that they said, that you had a fine and then a coarse, a fine and a coarse. It's not how it worked. El Yoina Keleta Subin, Tachtena Keleta Silas. If this would be automated, this would be really cool. You'd put it in on the top, and that was the most coarse, and that would hold back the most, and then it would be the next coarse, it would hold back till on the bottom was the finest of the fine, and it would let it out. So it would pass through all the sifters all the way down. The other way was that the very finest came out in the first sifter, and it didn't need to be sifted again. This, it passes through the whole thing. Reb Shimon Aimer Le'elem Kitzvah. Reb Shimon says that it didn't have any specific amount. Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught in the Bais, Seilas v'Afisaisa, Malamed shenikachas Seilas. You're allowed to buy flour for the lechem apanim. Minayim shafilu chitin. How do you know that you're allowed to buy? You don't have to do it at home or in the temple. You're allowed to buy wheat. The first thing is that you're allowed to buy flour. How do you know that you're allowed to buy wheat? And you do it at home. Pasuk says that you buy it, whichever it is. Yachol af b'shar menachos kain. Maybe with the other menachos also you could buy the wheat. Talmud Laimar, oisa. No, the lechem apanim you buy the wheat, but not the other menachos. Because of chisachin. It's another gears here. Let's see what this means. What does this mean? Amar Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar says,
Amen.
that the Torah is concerned about the money of the Jewish people, and therefore it's easier on the wallet. It's to buy the grain and to go through the process yourself. And the temple would do it themselves. And since the lechem apanim was so much, it was 24 isarin every single week. It was 24 isarin. And it was made from 24 saw, so it was better for them to do it on their own. And Heicha Remiza, where do we see this in the Torah? People wanted water. It says that they hit the rock and spoke to the rock. It says that when the water came out, they fed the congregation and they fed their cattle.
But
now, what does it mean?
Usually you fed first the cattle,
Yeah.
and then you do the...
Exactly. So the Gemara says, it's quoted in Shulchan Aruch, that when it comes to food, you have to feed the animals first. When it comes to drink, the humans can drink before they feed the animals the drink. And this is a raya from this. There's another raya, I think, from Rivka or something.
Yeah, she לקחה את... אבל לא, היא שקטה first.
So that they ask us a question. Why does she have to do that? She fed the animals first? No.
I think so.
No.
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 There's a raya from
וגם
there as
לגמליך.
well. Okay.
וגם לגמליך.
So this is a raya, the fact that the Torah is concerned about the animals.
צודק.
The Mefarshim over there discuss, how do you know it's a raya that the Torah is concerned about the animals? Maybe it's Tzar Balechayim or other things. They discuss, Rashi writes this in Chumash, and the Mefarshim over there discuss that. Okay, let's leave it over here. Shekaya.
Awesome.
Yitzchak, you didn't say nothing. יש הכוח פה אלי, come on time.
I know.